Reliability Solutions presents Key Tips, Techniques, Behaviors, Methodologies. Welcome to Chalk Talk.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Chalk Talk. Our subject this week is understanding pump impeller damage. You know, we can learn an awful lot about why our pump failed just by looking at the damage on the impeller. Of course, we have to try to catch them before they get this bad, but even so, understanding what causes these marks and the location of these marks can tell us an awful lot about why the pump failed or why the impeller failed. Let's take a closer look. Before we can understand impeller damage, we have to understand a little bit about flow-induced failures on pumps. There are 5 main reasons why flow through a pump will cause it to fail. They are vaporization, air entrainment, turbulent flow, recirculation, and vein pass syndrome. These all go by a common name today called cavitation, although technically cavitation is only the first one on the list, which is vaporization. Vaporization, recirculation, and vein pass syndrome all cause damage to specific areas of the impeller, which allow us to understand, when looking at an impeller, what caused the failure. By looking at where the damage occurs on the impeller vanes, we can tell a lot about what actually caused the damage. If the problem is caused by too far out on the curve or vaporization, also known as cavitation, then we'll find the damage will be located on the underside of the vanes on the leading half of the impeller, somewhere in there. That one is cavitation. If the damage is caused by suction recirculation because the pump is too far back on the curve, then what we'll find is the damage will be on the leading half, but on the outer part of the vanes. Suction recirculation. If the damage is on the trailing edge of the blades, in this area right here, this is caused by recirculation, but it is discharge recirculation. As we start to inspect impellers, the first thing we need to look at is the general and overall condition of the impeller. As I look at this particular impeller, one thing that stands out almost immediately is the fact that it has a coating of black material on it. And if we look up and down here in the ways, you can see there's a fair amount of material built up there. That would throw the impeller out of balance for sure. Another feature that we note is that when we look at the ends of the blades right here, particularly over here, you can see that there are deep score marks in the impeller. This indicates that this particular impeller was in contact with the casing of the machine, and this caused damage. Another feature to note here is as we look at the leading edge of these impeller blades, right here and particularly right here. If we look at this right here, you see all those indentation marks right there? You can actually see it right on this one. You can see it here as well. You can see it on this one. These marks and damage that are actually indenting. That indicates that this impeller was seeing a bunch of debris come through it. So it had its problems. But one of the main features I want to point out for this one is this damage right about here.
This damage is typical of suction recirculation.
You can see the eroded effect, the pitted effect. If I take a flashlight and shine it across at an angle, you can see how that looks under the light. Very, very deep pits. This is on the back side of the impeller blade. It's on the leading half of the impeller blade. So this was undoubtedly due to
suction recirculation.
In fact, the damage is so bad that if I shine the light on the back, you can actually see on the camera light shining through. It had eroded all the way through. So there you have it, a quick way to inspect a pump impeller.
So you can learn a lot just by looking at pump impellers that have failed. Try it sometime.
Thank you for watching Chalk Talk.
Reliable manufacturing is effective organizations, precision maintenance, process excellence, and asset condition assessment. To get your reliable manufacturing roadmap, contact us now